At the beginning of the summer, I bought a metal detector Garrett Euro Ace 350 from the online store Detector.com, and I carried it along while traveling around Finland. I will now tell some of my first impressions, my experiences, and show some of my findings. I used the detector mainly at the beaches, but also at the sport fields, parking lots, and similar locations. At first I set the detector at zero mode and sensitivity to the maximum. At the initial excitement I dug almost all the targets, but soon I realized I was just wasting my time digging mainly nails, cans and bottle caps, which are sown hard and dense by the shores of our lakes and sea. I have tried all the settings separately, but now I more often end up using the custom mode, which allows me to set the discrimination by myself. I've also learned to adjust the sensitivity and thus avoid unnecessary digging. In addition, even though the device seems to give the exact location of the object, yet almost always I also use the pinpointer because it gives me even more precise location, especially in the case of flat coins. I have been very pleased with the Garrett metal detector. It has many good points, like versatility, its accurate and well-defined discrimination modes, its reliable pinpointer, and that its batteries last long. The only downside, I would say, is that its accuracy suffers when the soil is wet. For example, close to the waterline, the detector often gives false alarms. However, more experience one gets with it, more easy it is to identify correct signals from the false ones, and thus increasingly starts digging only when being almost completely sure of the quality of the target. Now to the summer discoveries. As said, the Finnish ground is abundant with the bottle caps, but also many other interesting articles can be found, such as ammunition, boat rivets, bolts, machine parts, New Year's tin, buttons and alike. But if so-called junk or worthless pieces of metal are plenty, I must say the old coins can be found plentifully too. Perhaps this is an indication that metal detecting is not yet a very common hobby in Finland. During the summer I found coins of which the newest was from this decade and the oldest was a 5 marks coin from the year 1928. Although most of the coins found have no great monetary value, finding them is a memorable experience, especially if you think of what kind of life the one dropping the coin in 1928 had back then. A word commercial was first used in the Finnish language. The first telephone cable was installed between Finland and Sweden. The Finnish national ice hockey champion was won by the city, which is now part of Russia. And the antibiotic penicillin was invented in London. And yes, my birth was still half a century away. During the summer I was able to use the detector also abroad, where I made the oldest and the most interesting discovery so far. But more on that in a forthcoming new video, which I will post soon.